Hello, everyone. Welcome to this show, Evelyn Around the World. If this is your first time here on YouTube, please hit subscribe, and hit the like button. And today I'm excited because we're going to have a great conversation. We have Jeremy here, Nichols, and he's going to take us all the way to beautiful Tampa in Florida. Tell us about it. Oh my gosh, Tampa.
Yes.
I know there's a lot of people here joining that probably never been to Tampa, but so it's just great to get started. Let us know a little bit about Tampa and who you are and what you do, Jeremy.
Okay, so Tampa, I chose to move here, so there are a lot of things I obviously have to like about it because I chose to move here. I'm originally from New York, and I had to get away from that chaos. It was very suffocating. So I love Tampa because it's a big enough city that I have everything I want to do is here, but I also have space and time to breathe, and I have nice country background, but then I can go to the city and get whatever I need, the amenities. We do have probably arguably the best beaches. We're on the Gulf Coast, so East Coast Floridians will argue with me, but over here, if you want nice white sand, calm water, clear greenish bluish water, that's our beaches.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And, we do have a Stanley Cup winning hockey team. So we won the Stanley Cup this year. So that's why I have the Tampa Bay Lightning over here. Yeah. Baseball, football, hockey, yachting, fishing.
Tom Brady.
I mean, like a lot of things to do. Amusement parks. We're about, an hour away from Orlando. If you want to go get your Disney fix, there's a lot to do here. I can kind of ramble on about it. And you will get mad at this, but we do have the original Cuban sandwich.
No, you don't.
Yes, we do. It's proven. We won that war. I will send you articles. It was here in Ybor City. Right here.
Really? Oh, so I was completely oblivious to that because I was thinking it was in Miami or Key West, you will think. No.
It's been going back and forth and arguing, and I finally settled it. And maybe it'll be another war this year. But Ybor City is supposed to be where the original Cuban sandwich is. So
I got to go there for that. Yeah.
And you're gonna get a lot of comments now in this section. No, it's not. It's Miami.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about something real important. I'm passionate about this, Jeremy. And Jeremy, you and I had a conversation, I want to say 3 weeks ago, and we got on the phone, we talked about what we do. And then we said, we need to bring this to other people. Other people really need to hear about it. But first, before we get into it, tell us about what you do. You have plenty of experience in the recruiting headhunting world. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so I've been in recruiting for 20 years. I went on my own 4 years ago. I've always been in retail, hospitality space. So I'm a franchisee. I own the rights to Florida, and I do specifically hospitality headhunting. So I do hotels, resorts, private estate, yachting, country clubs, that world. And I do salaried permanent positions. Typically my wheelhouse is director title, so directors of engineering, general managers, directors of operation, food and beverage. I do some C-suite too, and I do some sous chefs and chefs, but pretty much salaried permanent positions in hospitality is what I focus on, and strictly in the state of Florida. And since I'm in Florida, I do recruit in the islands too, like the Bahamas and the Caribbean as well, just because we're so close. But Florida's my focus.
So interesting. I love it. But obviously now with COVID, that has changed tremendously. And unfortunately, that has impacted the hospitality industry. I can only imagine. Jeremy, you and I met on LinkedIn. And I think that's one of the silver linings of COVID, that now everything has gone just to the digital world. Maybe that was there before, but individuals that never used LinkedIn or other social media platforms are now more active and going there because they know they have to do something different now in order for them to find their way back. They need to find a job. It's not what we used to do years ago, or maybe before COVID, that you will go into an applicant tracking system, apply for a role, and then eventually you'll get called in and you're interviewed and go through the whole process. It's changed now.
Yeah.
So two things here. So first, let's talk about that. I think you have experience on the applicant tracking system world and how that works. In my experience as a human resources professional, I think that that's outdated. I know it helps in companies, and it really does. And again, if you're first here joining on this channel, we talk about what other HR professionals don't want to talk about. This is confessions about HR stuff that we really go through, and people
Open the
really want to talk
floodgates.
about.
Open the floodgates. I have no
Let's
problem doing it. Yeah.
Let's disrupt HR and really talk about really human resources should be, and what we need to be doing to make it better. So with an applicant tracking system, I'm not opposed to it 100%. I think it helps. And there's some couple of things there. Candidates really need to understand how to read the applicant tracking system, because if they match the job keywords to the job description, applicant tracking systems really read them, and then that gets to the hands of the recruiter, right? So that's kind of one way and how I see it on the applicant tracking side. Now, when the candidates learn this, they get through that process, get in front of the recruiters. Now, I think it works for them, but on the flip side, I think it makes the HR job a little harder, I guess, because then they really need to understand if that candidate has the experience they really have, they say they do, or if they're just pretty much going around the system and trying to get in front of them. So two things. What do you think about this in the whole applicant tracking system world, and what's happening with that now?
Well, that's music to my ears, because I am a headhunter, so I'm compensated when I go find people. So the more messier it is for HR directors, the better for me, because I can find the talent. Yeah. Because everything you're not going to have any pushback from me on ATSs. I have an ATS, yes, and I do have my network, and I do use one to keep myself organized. But that's the main reason I use my ATS, and also just to organize my pipeline of my job searches and to submit my candidates. Yeah. So it's a good organizational tool. But as far as finding talent, I still am a huge believer on networking, picking up the phone, calling people, and you have to think outside the box, because there's so many titles, especially in hospitality, right? Yeah. Like there are so many. So if you have, let's say you have a director of food and beverage search, and you really narrow it down to director of food and beverage, there are a lot of different types of roles out there that can perform that job duty that might not have, quote, director of food and beverage, end quote. And like, if you do a Boolean search thread, sometimes those things will pop up in your ATS. Like some of them might be called food and beverage, director, and it might be flipped, and the ATS might have it at the bottom of the page. Right. I mean, there's different ways they'll pop. I tag a lot of stuff in my ATS, so it's easier to find, but like, without going into a long, boring ATS conversation, I do think if you are going to be looking for people, you should still be working your network and being open-minded with the different types of titles that are out there. Because especially in our world, I can't really speak to other industries, but in hospitality, there are so many titles, and especially when you go from hotel to resort to club, right? Sometimes there's positions in the club world that are handling food and beverage operations that are not called directors of food and beverage.
Right.
So it's you have to be creative, and if you just stay pigeonholed in that ATS, you might miss out on your next hire.
And I want to touch on something you said there. The light bulb went off right there. And we started this conversation with the applicant tracking system. And yes, there's many of them out there. And but I think right now, more so than the applicant tracking system, is the relationships you build